Yo, what's up, guys? What is up? Let me get my mic over here. This is a really important conversation we're going to have. I can't even call it a workshop, even though I do have some slides built out, but I wanted to share my story. I wanted to share how I'm going about doing things. And there's twofold on this conversation. So the first thing I want you guys to do, number one, if you're watching this video, tag a friend. And please, 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 in this group, because it's free, I'm giving out free game for everyone when it comes to launching your business, making more money, saving money, right? Student debt stuff. Do me a favor and invite a few friends that you think would benefit from this group. I don't, free doesn't pay my bills, So, but when you guys help me grow the group, sometimes there's somebody out there that needs my help and they want to hire me as a coach because they want to make six figures. They want to launch a business. They want to, work with me on getting their credit right, whatever the case may be, but it helps me just by inviting friends. It may not be for you, but it might be for someone that you know. So now that we got that out the way, let's go ahead and talk about how I'm eliminating $70,000 in student debt. If you guys want to know about how I did this, please just type in the number 1. Let me know right there. And let me just explain this. Number 1, I understand arguments on both sides of the field. I understand the people who are on one side that say, Joe, it's not fair. They shouldn't have took out the loans, yada, yada, yada. They owe the money. They should pay it. Me as a taxpayer, I don't want to pay your bill. I get it. All right. And I also get the other side of the fence where they say, Joe, they gave me this huge bill. I was a young child, considered an adult. I didn't really understand the interest rates and loans. And I was told if I go to college, that's the only way to be successful. The pressures of society, my parents were on me. So I did what I did. And now I'm suffering day in and day out. It's just not fair. I get that side too. I'm kind of like in the middle. I did have bad advice. I didn't need student loans. You guys, I was in the military when I took out my student loans. And I was going through school, and of course, I was brand new married, and the person who I was with, she was having her first child, and the advice I had from one of my supervisors was like, hey, you can play the system. You can get your GI Bill and tuition assistance, but you can also take out a loan so it can help you pay for the baby stuff that you guys need because your partner's not working. It can help buy furniture because you guys can't afford it. Like it can help you get out of a stressful financial situation. So I wasn't dumb, but I also was trying to do right by my family. So I did what I did, and I kept telling myself things will be okay because when I get this degree, I'll be making so much money. I'll pay it back, no problem. Well, here I am today, over $70,000 in debt. And to be honest, I wish that I had someone to mentor me better. I'll just put it like that. I wish I had someone to mentor me better. As a young man, I was like 20, 21 years old, and I just didn't have the right mentors aligned for me, and I should never have took out the loans. We enjoyed the money, okay? And should I pay it back? Absolutely. I believe I owe that debt. I shouldn't have to have any taxpayers pay my debt for a decision that I made at the time. So, like I said, I get both sides of the school of thought. I totally get it. But let me explain to you in this conversation we're going to have right here why I'm actually getting removed. And if it wasn't for my specific situation, I would most definitely, from a business perspective, I would most definitely keep it. I would keep my debt forever. Why? I'll explain that too, okay? There's going to be so much I'm going to jam pack in. So if you guys are ready, let me know in the chat. Say, Joe, I'm ready. Give me the goods. Because this is going to help some people. I think this is going to change some lives for some people. And for some of you all who are in business, because this is a business group, right? I'm going to enlighten you on how, strategically speaking, you might not want to get rid of your student loan debt. And then some of you might be eligible to get rid of it. All right, so we're going to talk about those things. So let's go ahead and I'm going to share my screen. I actually made some slides like 5 minutes ago. So I didn't make it look pretty. I'm not trying to get no Kool-Aid points because my PowerPoints are so awesome. But I wanted to explain to you the different ways you can get your loans discharged as of today. It may be different when the next person comes into the president candidacy, right? And then when the next person comes, the rules flip-flop. But there's some rules that's been around forever. Like they're just not touching certain rules. So I'll explain that to you. And then I'll explain to you my unique situation that might be the same situation that you're in. So let's go ahead. Let me go and share my screen. If you guys are excited, let me know. I mean, if you guys like stuff like this, I absolutely want to continue doing different talks like this, not just starting your businesses, but just like different ways to grow your wealth. If that's the types of things you guys are interested in, I would absolutely love to keep doing videos like this if you guys are enjoying it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right here, and let's bring it over. Boom. All right, cool. So this is a quick little PowerPoint on how I am eliminating over $70,000 in student loans and how you can possibly do the same thing. Just a disclaimer, because it's weird I have to say this these days, but I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm not even advising you all to commit fraud, okay? Don't do any of those illegal things. But if you fall in this category, like I surprisingly did, then you should definitely jump on this, okay? So let's go ahead and jump into this. And I want you guys to first have an understanding of loan forgiveness. Forgiveness, cancellation, discharge. It just means you're no longer required to pay some or all of your loan. That's it, all right? It just means that you're done. Keep in mind, if your loans get discharged, it is counted as an income. You have to claim that income on your tax return. You will be paying taxes on this. I know this through the experience of my mother. My mother got her loans discharged, and then she was unaware she had to pay taxes on it. And then she started facing all kinds of penalties left and right because she didn't pay it. And her tax person did not make her aware of it. But I think the whole detail of the story, I don't think she even knew to make her tax person aware of it. So I think that's where like the communication part fell apart for her. And she, at the end of the day, got it figured out. She still had to pay taxes. I think it was like $5,000. She had to pay taxes on her student loans that were discharged that she wasn't prepared to pay. But that's just the nature of the business. So you guys need to understand the IRS is going to get their money no matter what. You're going to pay no matter what. If you're making money, even though it's a discharge and they didn't send you money, but they eliminated it, it's still counted as an income for you. All right. So let's go and move right along to the next one. The differences between forgiveness, cancellation, discharge, I mean, they're all pretty much the same. It just depends on like, did you get a discharge because of your job? You know, people who are in nonprofit organizations and you do that full time, or you're a teacher, you're doing it full time, or you have a state federal type of job, you might be eligible for forgiveness if you work for that company for a certain amount of time. I believe the timeline is normally like 5 to 10 years of consecutive work, and while you're in that position, you have to have 120 consecutive payments. All right, or if you got complete and total disability. A lot of times people coming out of the military, the police force, and firefighters, you guys get disability. Could be due to PTSD, could be physical disability. For whatever reason, you can no longer hold a regular 9-to-5 job. That usually applies to you. It's not easy to get, but if your body is in that position, you should most definitely apply for this. It's available to you right now. The government doesn't want to put more stress on you that you can handle if you're totally disabled. All right. And disability goes for anybody, not just police officers and firefighters and military, but those are like prime examples, like me, I got disability, but I'm not totally disabled. So therefore my loans aren't going anywhere as far as that's concerned. All right. So right here, this is just a little bit of information about the public service loan forgiveness. Like I said, 120 qualifying payments. The payments during COVID time, they did pause student loan payments. So that gap right there, if you were making payments, you're fine. You should be making payments, I think, as of May of 2022, I believe. That's when you should start making payments again, according to the Biden administration. Because I know it was supposed to start like January, February of 2022, but I believe that this administration extended it to May. So, look, every day things are changing. You got to stay up on the up and up with this stuff. All right. So public service order there. And that, again, that's by a government or not-for-profit organization. Now, let me explain to you guys about not-for-profit. You can work for a nonprofit organization full-time for somebody else, or business people, you can create your own, and then you're like, Joe, but that means I still have to make 120 qualifying payments. Yeah, make those payments. Do payments based on your income. All right, this is me coaching you, okay? You take this for whatever it is, but if I were in your position, I would have my nonprofit organization, make sure you launch an organization to where it's something you're passionate about. You don't want to just launch it and do nothing with it. Okay. You want to launch it and say, okay, I'm going to feed the homeless every weekend, or I'm going to, work at the women's battered shelter, or I'm going to like build homes for homeless people, whatever you're passionate about, but make it your thing. All right. So you're a legitimate nonprofit organization, and then make your payments, whether it's whatever you can afford, or if it's based off your income, make payments on it. All right. And after 120 qualifying payments, which I think is 10 years. I don't know. I'm not doing the math, but you make those payments, and then you can go ahead and apply for forgiveness due to your public service. All right. So again, this is just an option for you. All right. So teacher loan forgiveness, if you're a full-time teacher for 5 consecutive years, I think like elementary, secondary school, universities, I think like, you can get up to $17,000 of forgiveness. I thought it was more. I'm not too sure because I will never be a teacher, so I didn't do much research as far as that goes. But $17,000 is $17,000, y'all. I mean, like, take it for what it is. That's a lot of money. Okay, so you got that. The total permanent disability discharge. Again, you must be permanently disabled. Discharge in bankruptcy. Now, this is rare because normally, especially when you have federal loans, normally they don't go anywhere. But in rare cases, a judge might actually discharge this. I just saw a case where a young lady, she just went through bankruptcy, and in the rare case, a judge actually approved the discharge for her student loans, and then the education department was trying to fight it, but then they just recently backed off. They just said, you know what, screw it, she's going to bankruptcy, leave her alone. So again, it's a fight. But if it's a fight worth having for you in your situation, then go ahead and do it. I don't recommend anyone go through bankruptcy if you can prevent it. There's so many ways to get yourself out of debt. There's so many ways to get your credit right. I've had a car repossessed, a home foreclosed on, late bouncing checks everywhere. My credit was shot, yo guys, but I didn't go through bankruptcy. I understand sometimes you have to. My wife, my current wife, she went through bankruptcy. She bounced back. She got an 850 credit score. I mean, life is great for her right now. So everyone's situation in life is different, but don't just do it for the simple fact of trying to get your student loans discharged. I don't think that's the right way to go about things. But, again, everyone's situation is a little different. Okay, now this is what I'm doing. All right, this is the goods. This is what you guys have been waiting for. This is what I want to share with you guys. It's called the borrower defense to repayment. Now, I'm going to explain why this fits me, but let me just explain what this is. You may be eligible for this discharge if of your federal student loans, if the defense to repayment you took loans to attend a school, and the school did something wrong, or they failed to do something right related to your loan. Okay, so what could be doing something wrong? You guys remember, I'm just going to throw a school out there, okay? There's Phoenix University, ITT Tech, Trump University, I believe Trident University. There was a few out there. And then DeVry, those are all schools off the top of my head that got in trouble for doing something wrong as far as the student loans were concerned, and the students got their loans forgiven. So a lot of times the homes or the loans that were forgiven were like in-house loans from the school, and they got discharged right away, right? Like no taxpayers paid money on it, but no students paid money on it. Basically, the university lost money. No taxpayers paid money on it. I hope that makes sense. Now, for the borrower defense to repayment, this is federal student loans. This means that if the school did something wrong, and there was a court or whatever, or the school went out of business, whatever the case may be, if they did something wrong, the federal will forgive the loan, but then yes, taxpayers will eat that bill. But it doesn't mean taxpayers right now, because taxpayers of yesterday already paid that bill. They fronted you the money. Okay, so when people get upset, like, oh, I don't want my taxes paying your bills. Well, you're not paying it today. It was already paid yesterday. But if the school did something wrong and defrauded a student, it was a fake university, or they lied to the students, a university called American Intercontinental University, that's a big one right there. They defrauded their students. They led students to believe that they were related to the armed services. They gave these students these false promises on their likeliness of getting a job, getting their degrees. So they were basically lying and fudging their numbers to make people say, oh, well, I'll pick you over this other school because you seem credible. But they were lying. So you made me take out a loan based on a lie. And now that I joined your school and I can't get a job as easy as you promised, now I'm stuck with this student loan, no job. I've been screwed by your school. Does that make sense to you guys? So like that right there is a borrower's defense. That's what happened to me. Okay. I went to a school, the American Intercontinental University, and I'm going to show you guys how I found out I was eligible for the borrower defense to repayment. Now I have federal student loans. Again, they forgave all the loans to the people who went to school around the same time I did. If you had an in-house loan, they forgave those student loans. But everyone who had federal aid, we didn't get forgiven because that school has no jurisdiction over federal loans, only their in-house loans. So I was like, God, so I could have had my loans forgiven automatically, but it didn't happen like that because mine was a federal loan. I went through FAFSA. Okay, so anyways, let's move right along right here. I did a simple Google search. And guess what? That school that I went to, I saw all over the place. Let me stop sharing my screen right now. That school that I went to was all over the place with fraud and there's court cases and it went on and on and on. And it was from like 2009 to 2019. This was in battle in courts and everything. And then finally the school was found that they were wrong. The school never admitted to it, but they settled out of court and they settled all those loans. Kind of like that new thing that's out there right now. I totally, the name is escaping me, but they just discharge like billions of dollars of loans. Now it's kind of tricky because they only discharge loans for people who are in default. So kind of sucks for people who are paying on time, right? I don't make the rules. I don't make those calls, but it just is what it is. That's what was settled in court. But for people like myself, you know, like this loan right here did cause some damage to my life. I've been paying on some things and it's made life kind of hell for me paying this huge bill. And now it's being investigated to be discharged. And the investigator looked at my case and said, wow, you got a good case. Now, does your school have to be found in court for you to be able to apply for this? No. You can absolutely, if you have evidence, you can actually defend yourself and you can go ahead and apply for this and just say, look, I have evidence. I have credible evidence that when I enrolled in a school, I was told these things were going to happen. Like they're going to help me with job placement. They were going to help me with whatever, XYZ. And they never followed through on their end of the bargain. That like they didn't make any honest attempt. And you can show evidence of this. You can actually apply for this. And they're going to, and trust me, the application process is pretty horrendous. It sucked, but it's worth it. $70,000 worth. I'll spend 2 or 3 hours applying for this thing if I can potentially get $70,000 or more in student loan debt removed. Okay, so when you apply for this, if you have a federal student loan, first things first I would do is do a Google search on university. Type in controversy, type in fraud, and then your university name, and just see if there's any credible media sites. And I don't mean no knockoff. I'm talking about like some real media sites, okay? Not like Joe's news outlet, you know, like that's not real, okay? Like a real news outlet. See if there's any articles on it. See if there's any court cases out there that's on it. Make sure you do your research, your due diligence. Maybe even look for an attorney. Maybe go to like Rocket Lawyer or Legal Zoom or whatever websites are out there, Just Answers, and just see if you can connect with a lawyer at a discounted rate and see if they'll like tell you what you need to do, tell you what kind of information you need to submit, because this is real stuff, you guys. And it may take a couple months to a year for you to find out what the final decision is. But if you got a good case, you can get your student loans removed. I got my student loans, like the negative history, because they're like when I was going through my divorce, there was a lot of payments that was late on. I got it removed off my credit report. I didn't know I could do that. Excuse me. I didn't know I could actually remove things off my credit report, but I did. I got it removed. And it was crazy because all of a sudden my credit score jumped up. You know, I didn't know it was real that you can get your student loans removed off your credit report. Now, you can't get it removed just by reporting to the credit bureaus. You can't do that. You know, like what I just showed you in the presentation is the way to get them removed. But the credit bureaus, can you get it off your credit report? Yes, you absolutely can. And I did it, and I was surprised that I got it off, but I did, and my credit score shot through the roof. But again, this information I'm sharing with you guys, use the information for good. Don't use it to defraud anybody. Don't do it to like deceive or whatever. Do it legitly. And even if you get it removed from the credit bureaus like I did, just understand you still owe the loan unless you fall in the categories of the different things I just shared with you guys through the PowerPoint right there. And I know some of you guys just really want to get rid of it because it just sucks having it. And I get it. But let me explain to you why you might not want to get rid of it. Let me explain to you. Maybe one day, someday you want to, but by you paying your student loans on time, and if you're a business owner, this is really going to apply to you because your salary, your income, really, if you've been through any of my courses or if you've gone on one of my coaching calls, my free coaching calls, I explain this to everybody. Like your salary doesn't need to be $1 billion, right? You can pull in like $3,000 a month, even though you're pulling in 20, 30 grand business wise. If you're an LLC and you file as a C Corp, you don't have to pay yourself an astronomical amount of money just because your business makes a lot of money. But I'll explain that another day in a different way. But what I'm saying is, if you're paying based off income and you're only paying like $100 a month and it doesn't really bother you, well, it's building your credit, y'all. Like your credit history. People are looking like, oh, he's always or she's always on time with their payments on their student loans and their mortgage and their car payments. Good on you. Yeah, we're going to give you a loan. You see what just happened right there? You're paying $100 for credibility. That credibility may have got you a $50,000 loan or line of credit or $100,000. Like I got $100,000 from Bank of America a couple months ago, and it's still sitting there. I haven't used it yet, but I'm all about getting business funding. I want to have a couple $1 million in business funding available to me for any reason whatsoever. Like that's my goal, to have a couple $1 million, because using other people's money can build your empire. I'll always pay back my debt. I may pay back on the most minimum, way possible because I'm using my debt to bump up my credit score, so I don't care if I never pay my debts back. I'll pay what I got to pay if it keeps giving me more and more money. I'll take that, so like, again, it's not that I want to keep debt forever, but there's some debt I may not mind keeping lingering around for a little bit. It may be, like I start a nonprofit organization tomorrow, and in 10 years, I might decide to go ahead and discharge my loan. But in the meantime, I'm going to leverage 10 years of paying my student loans on time. If it's $100 and $150 a month, why not? Okay. So like there's might be reasons why you might not want to discharge your loan. You might want to keep it around for a while, build your credit up, show some good credit history, do good on your student loans. I mean, like it can't do nothing but serve you great purpose. And just because it's a large size loan, like, of course, lenders know that like home loans, student loans, it takes 20, 30 years to pay them off sometimes. So they're not really tripping on like how big of a loan it is. It's not a revolving like a credit card, right? So they understand and they're not going to knock your credit score down. But as long as you're paying on time, you're building credit up. And if you got great credit, then your life will change. You got great credit, you're paying less interest on so many things. You guys got to understand, y'all, credit makes the world go round. Credit right there will change your life. If you're running around with a 3, a 4, a 5, or 6 in front of your credit score, you got work to do. You've absolutely got work to do, and you cannot sit there and just wait around for something good to happen. And stop being cheap. Stop trying to like, oh, one day, someday, I'm looking for the cheapest person to help me. No, do whatever you got to do to get your credit score healthy, because it's going to save you thousands, tens of thousands of dollars over your life by fixing your credit. I promise you that. I promise you that. So just take your credit serious. So anyways, guys, I hope you guys really, really enjoyed this presentation. I hope this helps some of you guys out. I hope I enlightened some of you all. I try to keep it around the 20, 25-minute zone, and I think I'm around that right there. So for those of you guys, you guys know, if you're trying to launch a business, you're trying to improve your debt to income ratio, you're trying to improve your credit score, whatever it is, if you want to hop on a call with me, this is what I will say. I will jump on a call with you. You can let me know in the comments, like, hey, Joe, let's hop on a call. Type in the word, I'm in. Type in I'm in right there. We'll connect. We'll schedule a call. I'll do a quick little consultation with you. I don't do sales calls. I don't like them. We'll just talk about what it is. And if I think that you'd be great to be in my coaching program, I'll help you out. If I think I should just give you advice and send you on your way, I'll do that too. But I just, it's for people who are super serious. But please, again, like, my time is valuable, guys. I got things I got to do. I got like 4 businesses that I run. I can't sit there and be on the phone all day, every day for someone who's just being we call it an asshole, right? Always asking questions, but you don't want to be involved, right? We're here to elevate each other. I will help you. You help me. That's how we do things around here. But if you just want to take, and you don't want to give nothing back to the group or the culture or to whoever, then, you're wasting everybody's time. All right? Don't be that person. Don't be that person. Just like be in it to elevate your life and help other people out. That's all I ask from you guys with everything you do in your life. All right. Anyways, we're at the 25-minute mark. I gotta go. You got things